Shut!
Hello everyone. Today our topic is sex education issue in China. Now let's welcome Yi and Chen. Now let's welcome Yi and Chen to introduce about sex education.
Okay, our underground. This table stated from Statista shows how do young Chinese know about sex, and we can easily and clearly to see that the internet search is content 52.7%. This is the biggest proportion for the Chinese how to know about sex, and we can easily to see the sex education in school and parents and elders only less than 10%. So it really lowers the proportion for this. And according to a survey of Peking University study in 2015, only 10% of nearly 20,000 university students had received any sexuality education in primary school, and which shows that there are only small proportion of people have sex education during their primary and middle school. And sexuality education that I received in middle school was limited to some basic knowledge about reproductive system covered in biology class and brief. Girls only class meeting about menstruation, and this is a female student at Peking University said when she was interviewing, not only her what she said only also reflect what other students have sex education.
And this is our main argument. China does not provide enough sex education. And this is our best solution is to increase the sex education in primary and middle school. So why this solution? The first reason is that there are high popularizing rates. And the study shows that there are 99% students are going to school now, so which means almost every student can get sex education in school. And this is a picture of the double reduction policy. And this is updated by the Ministry of Education. So we can see after the update of this policy, all the schools actually follow this policy. So we can conclude that if the Ministry of Education said that we need to improve our sex education, and every school can also improve their sex education course.
Next, I'm going to talk about the second reason is because the school have better teaching results. So the first is that some parents haven't go to school when they were young, and so parents can't give their children enough sex education. So teachers can teach sex education scientifically with specialized knowledge that parents and elders don't know, and also some parents only know the example is about like HIV. So some parents only know what the name is and how dangerous and harmful to people, but teachers, like especially biology teacher and some other teachers, they are knowledgeable, and they can let students understand more and have a good study and learn more in the school.
But there are two limitations for this solution. The first one is that teachers don't know each student like as well as their parents. So like they can't guarantee every student can understand it. And the second one is that they actually don't have the task about sex education. So some students might think it's not important and may not take it seriously.
So I'm going to talk about the response for our presentation. and the data is from United Nations Population Fund, and which shows that the comprehensive sexual education course, which can delay the initiation of sexual intercourse and to reduce the number of sexual partners, and lastly increase the use of condoms and contraception. And so to give the basic concept of sex and make them understand it correctly, know how to protect themselves.
Last, I'm going to talk about the alternative solutions. We find two alternative solutions. The first one is to ask parents to teach their children about sex, and another one is to separate girls and boys during sex education. As for the first solution, there are some pros, like advantages, like the parents are more familiar with their child. They know the best way for their child to understand sex, so the result may be better. And another advantage is that parents often have much experience, like about marriage, about pregnancy, and so on. So they can teach their children with their own experience. However, there are also many cons, many disadvantages. Like this graph shows the educational level of Chinese adults. We can see that a big proportion of people, the educational level of a big proportion of people is less than high school. So they may not have enough professional knowledge about that. Like they cannot explain about the body structure to their children. And also, Chinese parents are very conservative, especially for older generations. So they may not take it seriously. So the limitation is parents have less expertise and may not take it seriously. And if we choose this solution, children cannot receive systematic and comprehensive sex education. So the reason why we didn't choose this solution is that if we choose it, the popularity rate will be very low, and also parents may teach wrong thing. And another alternative solution is to separate girls and boys during sex education. The pros of it is everyone may have a deeper understanding of their own gender because there are less people in a small class. So teacher can focus on one. The time that teacher focus on one student may be more, but due to the research of Elizabeth L, she feel that children may feel shameful on it because they feel they cannot talk about these topics together, and also this solution neglect transgender or non-gender kids, which are the minorities. So the limitation of it is that children may feel ashamed, and those minorities are neglected. And the response is that children could be biased against sex. So the reason why we don't choose this one is that the negative effect of it is much stronger than the positive effect. So at last, our solution is a way to solve the problem of lack of sex education in China, which is to let school to teach about sex. And these are our references. That's all.
Student A, how did the group decide to include students B perspective, lens, conclusions into the overall presentation?
We include his perspective because we think the teaching result of school is much better than other choice, like the result of parents. So I think it is very important in this part. So we include his part.
Student A, give one specific way that your thinking changed as a result of learning about students B findings.
Pardon? Okay.
give one specific way that your thinking changed as a result of learning about students B finding.
I think maybe I think maybe we can specialize a department in college and prepare those teachers, and they can teach. They can teach only about sex, so they may be more specialized, and that can have better results.
Thank you.